I'm Aimee, and this is Andie, and we're Theme Park Real Talk, the show that talks about theme parks and our feels about them, good or bad.
Coming at you from both sides, East Coast and West Coast. We're not here to hold back, and we hope you don't either.
And we have a lot of social media, so if you'd like to follow us on all of them, we would appreciate that. We are on Facebook, Twitter under a different name, which I forget mostly every week. It's
Theme Park RT Pod.
Theme Park.
We ran out of characters for that one, but yeah, we actually do post different content and different types of media and thoughts on the different channels, as well as links to new episodes. So if you want to follow us there, we'll see you there.
Please do. So this week we took a little bit of a break because we both went on our separate vacays.
Yes.
I went to Disneyland and California Adventure on October 24th and 25th. And Annie went to Magic Kingdom on October 27th. But
I did, and I also swung by the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, but I was literally there for 3 hours. I went there to eat. Basically, I went for food. I rode one thing. That's it.
What did you ride?
Oh my gosh, what did I? Oh, it was the Frozen ride. Of course, I had to. We tried to get onto the Remy Ratatouille ride, but that was a virtual queue, and we just did not plan ahead for that. So next time we go back, we have to do the virtual queue, and so we couldn't get in line for it. Once the virtual queue is done, you can't even get in line for it. You can't do anything. And so the people that I was with, nobody knew this, and I mean, we should have known. We did not. It was a really like spur of the moment thing, and we went to just get food and make really last minute reservations, and that did not include the virtual
Ratatouille ride. Yeah, that's okay. A virtual queue and all of the ride planning and like just going when you feel like it is taken on such a different meaning at any theme park now, because you always have to plan in advance, especially for reservations and things. So when did you go to Epcot last week?
It was the following Friday. It was before Magic Kingdom. It was right before, and we went at night, so I didn't see a lot. But I will say the Ratatouille French Pavilion area looks amazing at night because they did it brilliantly. They had the whole, and I did see the fireworks show, so I thought that was really pretty. I know a lot of people don't like the screens, and I didn't think the screens in the middle of the lagoon were overpowering.
Okay, tell us about Epcot's fireworks show. I want to know from your side as a Disney fan, and not just people going on there to rag on the giant things in the water. So
yeah, it's definitely emphasizing more modern stories. They didn't have a lot of like Snow White or Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty or any of the old school characters. It was a lot. They had Moana like 4 times. They had Elsa. They had Mulan. They had some of the more. They had Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was nice to see. Hercules and things like that. So they had some of the 90s ones too. It was cool. It was pretty. The screens, I expected the screens to be very overpowering and just kind of just take over the whole display, but they really were used to pretty good effect. I do see the complaint about how they block the view from across the lagoon, where before you can see all of the countries in the World Pavilion lit up, and that was part of a nice, cozy effect of the fireworks show. You could see the entire lagoon, and you could see all of the pavilions lit up. You can't see that anymore because the screen's in the way. But I don't think they're going to keep that forever. I don't see that. It is a type of show that I think could probably become pretty quickly dated, especially as they add new movies and things like that. And I don't see them keeping that show forever. I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty. Yeah. I thought it was. I mean, it was inoffensive. It was nice. It wasn't like anything, memorably spectacular or whatever, but I thought it was pretty. And and I did think they used the screens to good effect. And one thing was really cool was that they had all the different theme songs were playing, like Reflection from Mulan and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I was curious about the songs that they were playing through the show. So
well, they sang them in English, and then they sang them in the native language. So there was French and Chinese, and it was I thought it was really pretty. I thought it was
I love that.
a lot. You could hear people going, "Oh, it's it's in another." You could hear people kind of talking about it. So it was kind of cool. I thought that was really cool. It was a nice little touch. They definitely use. I see why they didn't use Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty beauty. And the show's called, Harmonious, and it's definitely intended to underscore the diversity in Disney's roster and catalog, and also to celebrate everybody and celebrate the whole world. And it's an international celebration. And so I see why they chose to highlight the properties that they did and the movies that they did, because it is emphasizing that theme of harmonious and one world and everybody, the different colors of the wind and all that stuff. So I get it. I get why they did that. And I think it worked, so I just don't see it lasting 10 years.
Right.
But
And I am curious, since you went for food and wine at Epcot, what did you think? Thoughts on food and wine this year?
Well, they had a lot of returning kiosks. They had a lot of returning that I went to in 2019, which was the last time that I went. And it was nice to revisit some of those. Everything was good. I don't go to Epcot Food and Wine to, watch what I eat. I just go and just eat whatever just strikes my fancy. And I always try to try something new and try some different desserts. And I do like the different wines and things like that they have. And I didn't do too much of that because we were just there for such a short time. And everything was good. I think there were fewer kiosks this year than there were when I last went. And then when I went in 2019, they were giving away coasters, a little set of Minnie Mouse coasters for annual pass holders. If you went, I think, more than 4 times or more on your 4th visit, you got this, the set. And so my son and I, we both got a set. So now we have 8 Minnie Mouse coasters, and
cool.
They're super cute. But we ended up going like 6 times, and they give you this little passport that you can put stickers on for each kiosk that you visit. And so I think there were 42, and I maybe went to 36 of them, not all in one sitting, not all in one visit. They were over the course of 6 or 7 visits, but I did end up, going to a few. And it's the kind of place where you just, they give you the, my father's family is from Spain, and in Spain they have tapas, which is the little, the little dishes that they have, like little bites. So that's what they really give you. They don't give you like full meals at these kiosks. They give you a little taste of that particular cuisine.
What was your favorite that you tried?
I had
a favorite.
There is a bread dip in India, in one of the Indian kiosks that has like 3 different dips. It has the baguettes that you can dip in, and it's naan, and then you can dip it in the dips, and it's like mango salsa and then spicy garlic, and a third one that it's some kind of chutney, and it was there. So you have these 3 little dips, and then and they have all that was a good one. And then they also have one in Belgium where it's like a raclette, I think it's what they call it. It's, that melted cheese, and they just dump this just massive amount of melted cheese over like the whole. It was potatoes, little pickles, and their bread as well, and some other stuff. And so they just dump this massive amount of cheese on top of all of that, and you just eat it, and it's just like this cheese stew. And it's if you like cheese, which I do, it was
that sounds amazing.
It is.
And delicious. Holy crap.
It is. And there's another one that I didn't try this year, but I had it in 2019 in the Ethiopia kiosk, which is like a cornbread, but it's more like, it's a little bit more moist than cornbread. So it's like a cornbread layer with like a beef stew on top of it.
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah. That sounds great.
If you're going to the Food and Wine Festival, there are only a couple more weeks left to it. But if you go, I would recommend just using it as an opportunity to go out of your comfort zone. Every little thing that you try is mostly, unless you're trying, like there was a lobster tail offering in one pavilion that was like $15, but for the most part they're under $7. So they tend to be between $4 and $7, and so really take it as an opportunity to expand your culinary horizons. If you haven't tried something before, try something that you haven't tried before and just, step out of your comfort zone. If you don't like it, you've only wasted $5 on it. You can just,
Exactly. Disney's such a great place for that, to try something that you've never tried before.
Yeah.
And especially at these little kiosks, because then you don't really have a lot of waste. And if you go with other people and they might like something that you don't like, then that's just free food for them. So that's
exactly.
that's what you need to do. But tell us,
we did have a little swapping going on.
Oh, you did?
Point. So yes. So.
Good sharing. Yeah, such a good idea, because if you don't, not only that, if you don't finish something, especially with like you're tasting so many things at the same time, then you could just share. So
exactly,
that's a great idea. So tell us about your Magic Kingdom day. So it was a full day. You went from okay.
We went the whole day. It wasn't very crowded. We got there around noon because I'm not a morning person and I live an hour away. So that was as early as I could muster. And we Disney bounded, Minnie and Goofy, and we went in, and I spent a lot of time looking at the new castle because of course they decorated it for the 50th anniversary, and it is really, really pretty in person. I have to say, it really looks like something out of a movie. It doesn't look, it almost looks surreal. And I guess that's the whole point. And so I spent a lot of time doing that. I tried to look for the bronze statues around the park, and they're very beautifully situated so that they have backgrounds behind them, so that you could, everything's intended to photograph well.
Right.
Everything for about the 50th anniversary is intended, to look good on the gram, and it really pays off. I mean, I do. And so we went to some, I wrote a couple of things I hadn't ridden before. I had never ridden the 7 Mines, the Snow White and the 7 Dwarves, the Dwarves Mine roller coaster. I did that.
7 Dwarfs Mine Train. You have to tell us what you thought. That's one of my favorites.
Cute. Oh, the section where it goes into the mine with all the little gems lit, and it was really pretty. And I don't know if I've told this story before on this podcast, but my grandmother was an animator and she was an artist, and my grandmother and I were very close, and the first film she ever saw in the theaters in 1937 in Cuba was Snow White. She was 9, and it blew her away, and it inspired a lifelong love of art and animation and the history of animation. And she worked as a colorist in an animation studio. And so just seven, the 7 Dwarfs and Snow White are very close and near and dear to my family, just because it was just something she loved her whole life. It was her favorite movie, probably forever. And just the animatronics of Snow White dancing, it's very cute. But so there's the lightning. I know that one of the things we want to talk about on this one is the lightning lane situation that they debuted. That was the week that it debuted.
Yes, yeah.
It inadvertently ended up causing some logistical issues for lower capacity rides like Peter Pan. So Peter Pan, I think it only holds 1,000 people or 1,100 people, as opposed to it's a small world which holds like twice that. And I don't have the exact numbers, but I know that there's just a really significant disparity between the capacity of Peter Pan. So Peter Pan ended up having like these ridiculously long wait times, which made it seem like a very in-demand ride.
You're right.
I mean, it is. I love the Peter Pan ride, but I don't know if it's like the most popular, whereas you had other rides that are probably like way more popular, like the Buzz Lightyear game, the Toy Story stuff with like it just I just felt like I just thought that was really funny, is that the Peter Pan had this like at one point it had something like an 80-minute wait to go on the Peter Pan ride. And it wasn't even that full. Like it really wasn't. There wasn't a lot of there weren't it wasn't really full to capacity at all. I thought it was a pretty low capacity day for the park because it was a Wednesday afternoon. So
that's the fast pass issue too. When there were fast passes available, it always extends lines no matter what, because they always let fast pass people in, whether or not that ride is necessarily popular or not. It just looks like it is because there's so many people going through fast pass, and it just delays standby. So it's interesting to know that Lightning Lane is essentially doing the same thing.
It is. Still, I know. And another one that we saw a huge wait time, which probably has the same issue, is the Winnie the Pooh ride, which again is not a wildly, it's just a very low capacity ride. So I don't know, it created that issue.
Interesting. So what is the longest, what do you think is the longest wait that you had to wait for a ride on that day? Even if it was a Wednesday, like I feel like Disney parks are fairly popular. It just doesn't matter when you go. People always seem to claim that it's busy. My friend has a friend who went to Disneyland who hasn't been to the parks in a really long time. And so when she told her that it was busy, we expected, when we say busy at Disneyland, like you're shoulder to shoulder with people and you're not really able to get through Main Street. But when we went for her birthday, I suspect that that's the kind of busy she was talking about, and it was not that busy. So I guess I'm wondering if Walt Disney World operates in the same way, and if you felt like the lines were long for when you went. No? Yeah.
I think the longest time that I had to wait in line was for the Monsters Inc. Laugh Factory. And that was just because it takes a long time to get that started, because it's not a live show. Well, I guess it is a live show. They have performers and people operating. And that is for people who haven't been to that before, it is a sit down show. So you go and the audience gets to text jokes for them to use. It's a really neat effect, because I really don't know how they do it. It's just Disney magic, I guess. Right. But the characters say different things every time, and they focus. It's a lot of audience participation, but it's pre-recorded for the most part. So I don't really know how they do it, but they ended up using one of my son's jokes. So that was kind of fun. But he was like, well, I don't think there's a lot of people texting jokes, but it was not very busy. I think I didn't really have to wait more than half an hour for anything. So
that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Well, because when we saw, it was Pirates of the Caribbean. That was the one we had to wait, I think, about half an hour for. 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Yeah.
That's not bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all. But but then again, we weren't going to wait 80 minutes to ride the Peter Pan ride. Right. So we were trying to stagger, and it changes. So like the Buzz Lightyear ride, when we came out, when we went into Carousel of Progress, and that was really fun. I had missed singing along to that like an idiot, top of my lungs to that, as you do. And when we went into it, it was saying that there was a 35-minute wait for the Buzz Lightyear ride, and then when we came out, it was 15 minutes. So it fluctuates a lot. And the parks app will tell you, and that's one thing that it'll allow you to select your fast passes and your return times and everything via the app, or before you used to have to go up to the people and ask them, and now it's all through the app, and everything is, you come back during your return time and you just swipe your pass and you're good to go. So it's a much more seamless experience. I will say, I know we're going to talk about the Knott's Berry Farm and some other parks that are going cashless now. And the one big difference, and I think that was a big hindrance in terms of first-time users, was mobile ordering for food. Because again, this is the type of where we've talked about this in previous episodes, where it's really labor intensive to learn how to navigate your experience at Disney parks now, because you really need like a PhD, and there's all this stuff that if you just show up, you really need. It's a tremendous amount of planning now. And what ended up happening was that I was there with my son, and he had not downloaded the Disney Parks app on his phone, because everything is on my phone, and all our reservations, and I do all that on my phone. And but he wanted to pay for his own food. And so we were at the situation where we were at the restaurant, and he had to like download the app to his phone, sign up, enter in a payment method. And it was tremendously time consuming. And then they tell you in the app, which was very quick, it was less than 10-minute wait, when your food is ready. But I'm imagining when you're a high capacity day and you have a hungry toddler, and you didn't know that this is the situation, that you had to predict when your children are going to be hungry, half an hour, 45 minutes in advance, so that you could, have this loaded app on your phone. I feel like it's a very daunting and convoluted if you're a first time user. So but we did end up getting to go there, and we did do the mobile ordering, and it was, for me, it was seamless because I had everything in my phone. But for my son, who did not have that loaded, and so then we were very nosy people. So what we did was we asked, because he was like, well, what do people do who don't have smartphones or who don't who don't, who whatever, for whatever
People, they
reason,
get
like,
this question all the time,
they
because
do,
I
they
imagine
do.
it's such an issue with with any, I guess, any theme park these days, because they always encourage you to use the app, especially now. But yeah,
Yes.
what did they say?
They said, well, we have a line for that. We have a
They have
line.
a
We don't,
line?
we don't
Oh,
publicize it. Like, we
you
don't
have a line.
they have us like the line for like the elderly or whoever doesn't have a smartphone. And they were like, well, but it takes a really long time. Like, you do not want to get into that line because it takes forever, because sure enough, it was a very long line when I saw it. But they just want to encourage everyone to use that app. So that was the reality is that you do not actually need the app if
Mm.
you really don't want to and you don't mind waiting. And I don't know, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I was gonna say, is it your first time? It's a weird question. Was it your first time, I guess, post everything, using like exclusively the mobile for ordering?
Yeah. Yeah, it
Okay.
was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It
Yeah.
was, I had never used that before, for the quick serve. I had never used
Mm.
the app before, so
I was gonna say, pre-pandemic, as soon as they started allowing mobile ordering, that's like all I used. So
yeah.
that's where we differ in that. It's just that I was so used to mobile ordering at Disneyland that, like, I guess when they started encouraging more app use, the only difference that I started seeing during my days is that the first thing I thought to do, because other people had said it in Disney forums, was to check how long it took before your arrival window. And so I remember the first day I was at Disneyland, I had checked the app just to see, and I got there pretty early. I was there at like 8 o'clock, but I was seeing mobile wait times extend out till 10 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, so I have to think about what I'm hungry for right now so that I can order for 10 o'clock so that I can pick up that food at the window by like my mobile arrive time, which is like 10 to 10:30, which I thought was ridiculous. Yeah, like, why would you wait 2 hours when you could do standby? But the difference is like you said, in standby, the line is significantly longer than it would be
Yeah.
for you to order your food and then go to pick it up, is the problem. But I had checked those wait times later on in the day, and they had shortened significantly. So
Yeah.
let's say at 10 o'clock, I want a Jolly Holiday at Disneyland, and then I picked 10 o'clock, and then I was able to get my food in 15 minutes. So I think
Yeah,
that,
that's we didn't
yeah,
even wait that long. I mean, it was
yeah.
almost instantaneous. They had it, that's part of the quick
The
serve.
app has the tendency to scare you, I think, into just
Yeah.
thinking, I don't know why they have that 2 hour buildup like early in the morning. I was wondering about that, and I don't know, I don't think anybody's talked about it, how like at 8 o'clock in the morning, why they have mobile wait times out until 10 o'clock in the morning, but that you could get your food right away, which I think is strange. And I didn't test it because I don't think I ate breakfast there, but yeah, I just thought that was weird. But
Well,
yeah.
it's time for me to get with the times, So I actually found it pretty convenient,
Yeah.
just because it was really quick. Once
Yeah.
you get the hang of it, it's really quick. It's really convenient, but it's that learning curve. I can
Yeah.
imagine, especially people who are new to the entire experience. I can imagine that the learning curve is probably pretty steep. But
I have to say, during one of my stories, like, I went on my friend's birthday on the 27th, and like, she let me do everything because she just doesn't trust the system anymore. She's just like, I can't, because she wasn't sure if I got reservations. I was like, don't worry, I have your birthday reservations. We're going to the parks for sure. I surprised her with a park hopper so that we were able to go to both parks, because she hadn't been in a really long time, like pre-COVID. She hadn't been, and it was her birthday. So I said, we have to do park hoppers. I want to take you to the new ride, Web Slingers in California Adventure, and then do Rise of the Resistance on the same day. But that's, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's
yeah, I
part of
was
my
gonna
part of my
say,
tale.
I do want to hear, all about your vacation, your vacay over at California. You were finally able to go home.
Oh my God, I was. And you know what? I did not miss it. I got it. There's not one part of me that misses all of that traffic and like all of it, it was just so, I felt it was so congested. And like I was driving through the streets today thinking, look how wide my streets are. Like, look how many cars and like, look how fast I'm going through these streets. But like,
Aimee lives in Las Vegas. If you're new to
I live
our
in Las
podcast, she
Vegas,
lives in Las
and
Vegas. I live in Orlando. She lives in Vegas. She used to live in Los Angeles.
I
So
did.
you can tell the story.
And LA is just so, there's just so many people. It's just so many, like just going a whole 2 miles feels like a whole challenge. But so I was finally able to make it back to LA. I decided to go. I was originally planning on a staycation, but Disney's back open, so let's spend some time at Disney. I went with my mom, and we went on Sunday and Monday to the 2 parks. We just did 1 day, 1 park, just so we can spend time at both. I hadn't been to both since February of 2020, my birthday last year. My goal was definitely each day do the new rides. So I had been on Rise of the Resistance before, my mom had been on, but I still want to go all the time, always. It's the best ride. So we did virtual queue.
I haven't been yet, but
right.
I will. I'm going to Hollywood
no spoilers.
Studios. Hopefully, I know. I'm hoping to. I've tried to remain unspoiled. I haven't watched any like videos of the ride or anything like that.
Yeah.
I want it to be it because everybody says it's so amazing, and where my family's going this Friday to Hollywood Studios. So I'm very.
Do you have a game plan for like your Rise standby? Like, are you gonna try to go early, or are you just gonna bust out there and pray that it's short?
Yep. I like to live dangerously, so that's what I'm going to end up doing. No, we do plan to, go relatively early. It is a Friday afternoon, so if we go like before noon, it's usually not that full. They do standby queues now, so we will see. We will see if we get them.
Yeah, I suspect it won't be that bad. I mean, like they always try to scare you in the morning with that long line that everybody uses when you rush into the park, but by afternoon and by that time I think it'll calm down. But I agree. I
want to hear more about your experiences.
I'm just gonna redact my whatever spoilers.
I'll put fingers in my ear. And you ended up going to Universal, but you did not go to Halloween.
No, and I don't wanna, even though I have this shirt, which is from Halloween Horror Nights. I don't care. I love Hill House, so I'm always gonna buy Hill House merch. But okay, back to Rise. I did virtual queue 7:00 in the morning. I literally opened my eyes and like punched my phone, and then we managed to get I think a group sometime at noon that we were going to be called, so we had plenty of time to get to the parks. But even so, it was my first time back. I'm like, get up, like leave, we're going. So we got there at around 8:30, and then I started doing the method is to do, especially around Halloween time, like Haunted Mansion is going to be the longest line the entire day. So the first thing you want to do is head straight to Haunted Mansion, and there was absolutely no wait for us. We do use accessibility in the parks because of my mom, so we got to, even the line was only 5 minutes long. We go through a different entrance, so it wasn't that bad. But I do want to say that disclaimer because our line times were relatively short. I don't know in comparison to what like the actual lines are, but at Disneyland you cannot fit wheelchairs into traditional lines like you probably can in Walt Disney World because there's more room. Yeah. But like for instance, in Fantasyland, we were given return times to come back because there was no room for anything in that tiny bit.
You guys had a Muppets Haunted Mansion display. We do not have anything like that.
We did. Yeah. Oh,
so jealous.
I know. I thought of you the whole time, and obviously I sent you pictures, but it was
I was so jealous though. You sent me pictures. I was like, oh, why don't we have that? But I thought of the Muppets while I was riding Haunted Mansion.
It should be bi-coastal. It should be. I don't know why they only have it in one park, and it was also strangely placed. Like they put it in front of World of Disney, but not in front of the store. They put it where the trams used to be. So like, it's just this display in the middle of what would be one of the walkways to get to Disneyland. Everybody will miss it if they're not.
They always do the Muppets so dirty. I swear they always do. They always do them up. We went into Memento Mori, the Haunted Mansion,
store
gift shop, and they didn't even have any merch for the Muppets Haunted Mansion there, and it was like a supposedly a huge hit on on Disney Plus. So they always do the Muppets dirty,
Oh,
man.
here's the other thing you're gonna hate, because
Oh no.
over at Talking Points with Mr. Lincoln is what I'm calling that show. They had a Haunted Mansion display there for the entire year last year, but they added little pieces of Muppets Haunted Mansion to the display. So they have like drawing boards that were going to be featured in the movie, and they did have little movie props like the little Leota head and one of the doors that they used in the movie. So I'll include that all in here and put pictures and stuff, because I took tons of pictures. But thought of you there, because I don't think that they have that over in World either.
Nope.
which is weird. I'm sorry.
We got nothing.
I'm sorry. What else were we there for?
We did want to talk about the cashless, the Cedar Point, Knott's Berry Farm going cashless, and how that's going to work. Because I thought that was we were talking about that earlier. I thought that what you said, how they had it all planned out, is a very interesting experiment. And I'm very curious to see if it's going to catch on, or if it'll bleed over into the bigger parks. So
yeah, I don't know. Like, I think just because, obviously because of COVID, people have decided to start using cashless payments. I think being cashless is just easier than having to deal with change. So from what I've seen of the machines, at least of Knott's Berry Farm, it's like a cash into card converter. So what you do,
you load it. It's and then you use it like a credit card.
I think you would lose it and that's the thing. It's like, are you only able to use this card in that park if you're loading it onto this machine? I don't know. Like, I don't know the details of this machine, but like, that would be weird if you're only able to use this like special payment that you're going to be using in the park. You'd have to know how much money you're going to be spending. And
is it like at a casino where you can trade it in for cash afterwards?
Trade it in for cash. Can you return some of that cash? I don't know, but like, in the same way, is the food I assume that they're doing cashless payments at food ordering too, where you probably just Apple Pay into the device, which I have to say, Disneyland was starting to implement this pre-COVID, but they were so slow in getting it processed that our information had to go into Orlando's system and then come back into Disneyland. It was so dumb. And so it took really long to process not only your payment, but the annual pass holder payment. They said we have to go through Orlando. So the transaction took so long. But now that they implemented finally Apple Pay into the system, you just put your phone on the little thing, wait till it says go, and then tap. Oh my God, so much easier. It was so annoying.
It is easier. It is easier. I mean, it isn't something, because I have been going to Disney World for my whole life, right? So you get decades of doing things one way. It takes a little bit of getting used to doing things another way, but it really is so seamless and easy, and especially for those quick things. So, but I mean, I would love to be able, and you can, one great thing is you can tie in a form of payment to it, which is something that people have been asking for a long time, is you can just put in your credit card into your Disney app, and it'll and then order it. You can, or debit card, and you can order anything from the quick serve or wherever you want, whatever you want to eat that day, and just pay for it with that determined, form of payment. So I thought that was super convenient. And people have been, we just got to get with the times.
I would say, especially because you were talking about like your son getting his own app on his phone, and he didn't have that set up before. And I was just thinking, when I went with my friend, if we were going to be splitting the cost for something, I think that that's just something, if it's possible to do, just gather on one person's, and then that's the thing about Disney receipts, is that they will email you the receipt of your food, which I think is really good, because if you are food splitting, which is a good idea at Disneyland, that's something that you can figure out later. So I think that just putting into one thing and then splitting it up later, I think that's the fastest way to do. That would be my advice if people are going on group, is just to be able to put it in one order and then split it later. Because I think the alternative, unless you each, let's say it's a big group, unless you each have it on your phone and you each order, it's such a it's so tedious.
It is.
Yeah.
No, that's what we ended up doing that for dinner, is that I paid for everything and then he Venmoed me his half.
Right. I mean,
but yeah.
What else are
That's
you
what we
gonna
ended
do?
up doing.
I mean,
I
you do
mean, but
have,
yeah,
yeah,
there's got to be for now. That'll work. But I mean,
yeah.
having this cashless option where you this loadable car, that's a card. That's a really cool idea that they have. I don't know how they would implement it in other parks, but I mean, it's definitely not a bad idea for people already do that for the parks
Mhm.
right now. They have
Yeah,
but they do like Disney gift certificates or gift
right,
cards. They did
right.
that. Or I think that they have the equivalent for Universal. But so this is, I guess, something along those lines, but it's a little bit
I
maybe
was gonna
more.
say, I mean, like, especially going to both theme parks, going to Disney and Universal almost back to back. I went to Universal on Friday. I just kept thinking, like, wow, they could really use Disneyland's this service, or Disneyland could really use this service from Universal. I'm like, if we could just share and share alike, like our
Oh
information,
no,
maybe
no, it'll
we'll
never
have like
happen.
the ultimate customer experience. But let's just make it complicated and split up our ideas. Like, I had a really good time at Universal, but I just wanted to say real quick, since you were talking about Seven Wars Mine Train, that Snow White at Disneyland also got renovated pre-COVID, and it looks amazing. Like, it
Oh,
doesn't look,
cool.
yeah, it, because I was always jealous of Seven Wars Mine Train because it looks fantastic with
It
all the
does.
things that they have inside, but we enhanced ours too. We have like little screens where it's more digital, and they enhanced our gem section where we're hi-hoing all the way
It's so
down in the
pretty.
mine.
Me
It
too. Me
looks
too.
beautiful, and I was so jealous, and now I'm just like, okay, well, now I can have a little piece of new technology over here in Fantasyland, because they were well due for an update. Like, they needed that update, so I'm glad that they had that. But what else was new at the Web Slingers at California Adventure was brand new. It was my first time at Avengers Campus at
Yeah,
California
you got to
Adventure.
tell us all about how that went. It
It
was
was,
cool.
oh my god, like, the first thing I did was like hop to Guardians because I knew the line was going to be extra long. So I did Guardians first, and then right next to Guardians is Avengers Campus. And for Disneyland lovers out there and Disney California Adventure people, we know how long the detour of that construction took around former Bugs Land. We had to go all the way around. If you're
Oh my
going,
gosh.
you had to go all the way around Hollywood Land and like end up in Cars Land. But now finally our shortcut is back. You can go through Avengers Campus to get to Cars
Did your
Land.
mom ride with you? Did she ride that one with you? Is it like a very
Web
tumultuous
Slingers,
ride? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
let me tell you, it was so we had to do another, this was another virtual queue situation, which brand new news they got rid of just this week and turned to
Yes, yes.
standby, which I found interesting. But also, it doesn't surprise me because Web Slingers is one of those that you can fall in line for, so it doesn't necessarily need a queue like Rise right now, but because it's very popular, Rise is, and with a big crowd they probably need the queue, so it's on an as needed basis. But Web Slingers, we got an early queue. I think we were group 35, so our call time was around 9:30. And then the line is big enough for wheelchair access, for
Oh, good.
anybody wondering. So I was able to push through oh my God. And the line is tremendously long. Like, I didn't know what other people were talking about when they said it was long. But even if your group gets called, it's long, starting from the beginning of where the line is to inside the building. I timed it. It's like 35, it was 35 minutes, I think, or around 30 minutes. I wanted to check how long everything was. So I was using my stopwatch on my phone. But so we were able to go on that. And if you're in a wheelchair, there is a special section away from the ones that are loading, because loading has to go pretty quickly. So it's this one car that has 2 seats on the right side and then a space on the left side, so that you're
Okay.
either able to stay in your wheelchair or you have the option to
To get
be
into
seated. Yeah, if you
right.
want to sit in seats. So my mom usually gets out of her chair just to sit in the chairs. So we sat next to each other on the thing, and it's for her it was hard to understand just because the instructions were really quick. You don't really know what to do until you're in there. It is a ride that you have to use your hands and your arms as the weapon or as your
Oh,
gun shooter. So you're shooting,
you're Spider-Man.
you are Spider-Man, and you are helping Peter Parker with this thing that he actually caused, which were the replica of all of these
spoilers.
Spoilers. Oh my god. I was like, you see this in the ride queue, but sorry, but big spoiler.
No, it sounds so cool though.
Spiders everywhere, and so you're shooting these little spider things, and then so you're just using your hands. So I did the whole web thing. I was using them with my
of course.
I developed my method, which is just basic, because you can either like really go at it, or you can just kind of like
coast
through. Like, so I was trying to show my mom what to do, and then we made it through, and then you actually do get scored individually. You have 2 colors, so we were orange and purple, and then at the end it'll show your group number. Big spoilers, spoiler alert down here, I'll put it in big bold letters. They have 3 separate view screens, so like you go into 3 separate different areas, and then so that is your big culmination is this giant redacted. So
okay, like a boss fight, huh?
Yeah, and then the ride vehicle itself, as I noticed the other people loading, usually holds 4 players. So if you're going, the 2 of you, your numbers,
you guys only had you 2.
Yes, your numbers will be significantly pulled down. I suppose if you're going as a whole car, you could probably hit up to like 1,000,000 points, 800,000 points. But it was so fun. People are like,
it sounds awesome.
Right. People think this ride is dumb, and I'm like, you're dumb. Like,
I'm just super curious, because of course Universal Studios has a SpiderMan ride, which I thought was really fun, but it's a little bit more passive than that. You just kind of ride, and you have to go through.
Universal Hollywood does not have this ride, so I've never been on that one. No,
I was gonna say how it compares, because it is one of the, Universal Studios Orlando gets a lot of flack for having a lot of screen rides and a lot of like simulation rides,
right?
But this one actually does move quite a bit, and it's more like a Gringotts kind of ride where you go through it, and it does move, and it is a little bit closer to like a hybrid like roller coaster ride. It doesn't you're not sitting there passively watching a screen, and so it is a little bit more actively engaged than just sitting there.
Is there gameplay on? No. So
it is a narrative. It's a whole narrative, but it's 3D, and it looks really cool. It looks like you really feel like you're in the middle of. It makes you feel as though you are in the middle of a big showdown between Doc Ock and Spidey and all this other. So it's very immersive for a simulation ride. But I was just kind of curious how I hadn't realized you hadn't seen it yet. So when you come here, when you visit, we have to go to that one, because it is one of my favorite rides in Universal Studios.
I need it. I love all things Spidey. So I was excited that Web Slingers was really good, because I didn't really, people are kind of comparing it to Toy Story in a way, except I was like, yeah, but you use your hands. It's more fun. Like,
yeah.
It just reminds me of that line in Back to the Future 2, where Elijah Wood is like, you use your hands. That's like a baby's toy. And I'm like, oh my God, we're in the future. I was so excited.
It's I mean, I've heard that comparison too with the Toy Story, the Buzz Lightyear one. So, but I mean,
much better. But oh my God,
but that's a really fun ride, though. I mean, so
much fun. Oh my God. You have to come back and you have to ride this. I mean, I hope that it does go to Florida, because I feel like you guys like definitely need part of this whole interactive ride experience, but it's here at California Adventure. But Adventure's campus as a whole is pretty small as we expected it to be. It just filled the Bugs Life area. So you just have like different sections where you can see different characters. Up on top of the building was Captain Marvel and Black Panther. Yes. When people saw Black Panther, people went nuts. Like
awesome.
Ran outside. Like, and as soon as he started doing like Wakanda Forever, people were just like, oh my God, I got so excited. I was like taking all these pictures, and I'm like, it just seems so exciting to like see Marvel characters in their element. And I got a selfie with Shang-Chi, of course. He was just leaning against the building. So cool. It was so cool. And then I did have breakfast and lunch at Pim's Kitchen, which was the only new eatery that they have for Adventures Campus. But it was stellar. Like, even if the food is like, I'd say elevated preschool, if that's the
Wow.
way to put it.
Nice.
Like, I just had like peanut butter and the bacon one, but that was so good. And they have a very traditional breakfast, but it's their presentation and the way that Pim's Kitchen is. It's supposed to be, you know, modeled over by Ant-Man and the Wasp, and how he has like big food and then they shrink it into tiny food. Oh my God, it was adorable. I have a video of an egg like this small and a banana smoothie as big as my pinky. And it was so good, but it's this small. So
Oh, how cute. You got to put it on the TikTok.
I will. I'm gonna put up all the stuff. We're thinking about doing something for like Vlogmas over December.
Yes.
So maybe we'll get a culmination of all of our trip stuff and then put it over all that over that time. But
yeah. Well, I have a pretty set itinerary, because I only really try to go to the parks once a week, because
Right.
I live a significant distance, and I have a life outside of it. Believe it or not, maybe sometimes it's hard for me to believe I do have a life outside of the Disney parks. So,
but why? No.
I know, it's thus far, I know, until, but so yeah, so this week I'm going to Hollywood Studios. Next week I do want to celebrate Diwali in Animal Kingdom in the Asia Pavilion of Animal Kingdom. They have a wonderful Diwali celebration, which I did not get a chance to see. I have seen videos of it, but I really wanted to do that. And then I guess the week after that is maybe not the week after that. I'm not really sure. I may go back to the Food and Wine Festival before it closes. But then the week after that is Thanksgiving, and I have, one of the tiers, my tier of pass has a blackout date for Thanksgiving. And then the week after that, I'm seeing Miss Jodie Benson do the candlelight processional, hopefully, at Epcot Center, at Epcot. And then I'm trying to squeeze in a SeaWorld trip somewhere in there. Somewhere in December I may go. So, and I'm meeting a friend. There's a couple of people that are wanting to meet at Epcot through the holidays, but sometime after the blackout dates in December, because it's the 16th is the last day you can go as a pass holder if you don't have the
for December.
Yes for my tier. And because and then it's through January 2nd, so somewhere in there I may squeeze in a holiday SeaWorld trip, so we can have something. We'll have things other than Disney here and there.
Here and there. I was gonna say that, like, good for you, you're able to get reservations for December, because Disney people all here have not been able to get anything, including myself. So I got lucky that I got I was telling you, my plans are completely thwarted by Marius Nights, and just because they did say, which nobody knew until they came out with the schedule for the holidays, that if you're on Marius nights at the parks, then you also are not getting the Plaza Inn package, which is the food package that comes with getting a reserved section for Christmas Fantasy Parade. So there's supposed to have, which is a bummer. Like, so they only have 2 showings for Christmas Fantasy, 3:00 and 5:30. I have to leave the park by like 3 something. And so our package is only for 5:30. So maybe I'll give out my vouchers if anybody wants them on December 6th, because I will not be using them. But I was just curious to try the food, but I will miss out on the fantasy parade. But I didn't know that they would not be showing the fantasy parade on Marius Nights, and obviously they will not be showing fireworks on those nights
because you're leaving, because you're going so early,
right?
But
and
you said now we were talking
just real quick, our candlelight is the weekend of December.
It's more
4th.
Limited, right? It's only one weekend.
It's it's 2 days, December 4th and 5th. Both of those days, no nothing, no parade, no fireworks.
Oh wow!
And so if you want to book that package, you can't. I'm sorry.
Like, it's all sold out. Oh
no, it's not sold out. They're not doing them at all.
It's just not available. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Disneyland people are bummed because there's only specific times that you're able to do this during the holiday, especially on the times that we're blocked out, because we're blocked out the majority of the month, and now we can't get reservations, and now they're taking away everything.
What a bummer.
It's not great. Well, Disneyland, do better. But
for real, because we have it all month long at Epcot. And you were telling me, we were talking right before we started recording, was November 12th is Disney Plus Day at the Disney parks this year. It's the 1 year anniversary of the launch of Disney Plus, the streaming service.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a blue carpet.
They're having blue. When I heard you were going to Hollywood Studios on November 12th, I got so excited because
I know.
According to Disney Parks Blog, they are going to be having a blue carpet for people who are going to the 4 Walt Disney World parks and also Disneyland in California.
That's me. That's me. I'm going to the Disney parks on November 12th, which I didn't know about. I'm just, got very lucky. And so yes, I will be at Hollywood Studios that day. And so apparently they're having
the blue carpet experience, including
that's why they knew I was coming. They knew I was coming, so they had to roll out the VIP treatment. That's the thing.
Planned specifically for you, obviously.
Exactly.
But for those of you who don't know, you can also get complimentary Photopass, which is very important because it's no longer included on any Magic Keys at Disneyland or California Adventure. So take advantage of this day if you can get reservations and try to get your Disney Photopass. Also same for Walt Disney World. I think Photopass digital downloads will be available, and
awesome.
This is specifically to Disney Plus subscribers. So I was told that you have to log into your Disney Plus app in the park.
I can do that
to prove that you are an actual Disney subscriber.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. So I can do that. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. But that's cool. I don't have because when they relaunched the annual passes in Orlando's Walt Disney World parks, they made Photopass a la carte. It used to be included in specific tiers, the 2 upper tiers of the pass holders.
Same with Disneyland.
It is no longer
and now
case.
nothing.
Now it's $99 a year. I opted to not get it. It just did not really make sense for my family. We just don't really use it as often, for us to pay $100 extra a year to get these photos. But hey, free. I like free. Free's cool.
As opposed to me, I used Photopass all the time. And so I'm really pissed off that they don't have it anymore for Disney Keys. I used to get the highest tier for Photopass and for parking, and they just decided to take all that away. But especially if you're paying $20, at least in Florida, if you're paying $20 per package or whatever the photo packages per day, it's so worth it to get if you're going to use it, it's worth it to get added on. But unfortunately that is not available for Disneyland Key people as usual. But at least you'll get your free photos. And then it says that there are going to be fan favorite Disney Plus characters and different appearances around the park.
The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh my God, fingers crossed that they have somebody cute, little baby Groot running around. Yeah, they have to. And then
I'm sure that the Mandalorian has to be the easiest character. Right. You can put anybody to the point where Pedro Pascal was not even the person in the suit on the show for most of it. So they could put literally anybody in that costume and people would go wild. People, I mean me, and I would love to see the Mandalorian there. So I'm hoping we will report back, and I will definitely upload some videos of how it all goes.
I want to see what these in-park perks and offerings and whatever else. And then if you're at Disneyland, I think it says Disneyland, you'll be able to get in 30 minutes before park opens. I don't know about the other parks yet, but
that will do me no good though, because I don't get up early. No, that's right. That's nice for anybody who's there at 7 a.m. That will not be me, but that's cool.
Yeah. Available for anybody who wants to be there earlier in the parks, but
for those early birds.
The key for, I'm going to call this a hot tip, because the key for people who are trying to get your Magic Pass reservations, always check the night before, the day before. It's usually people who are dropping their reservations and canceling their reservations for that day. You're going to be able to get into the park. I don't know about these busy days where everybody's trying to get in, let's say on the 12th, but fingers crossed the day before. And I know this is not convenient either for out of town people like myself who need reservations, but if you're local, just do that, because there are 1,000,001 complaints I see every single day about not getting reservations. But kids, if you try hard enough, just believe it'll happen. It'll happen, because I've seen it happen. So fingers crossed for you.
Fingers crossed, and I think that's pretty much all we have to talk about. Well, no, I did want to touch on because I found it ironic because in the last episode, I think it was the last episode that we talked about Universal Beijing and how it had been like wildly sold out for the entirety of its run. I mean, like it was sold out, I think, a couple of months in advance. And this last week, a few days ago, they were snowed out. They actually
I did see that. That's great footage. Whoever took that, it was
that beautiful. Well, because Hogwarts and the Hogsmeade rather, and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Now, the Universal Beijing has a it's their Wizarding World of Harry Potter is very similar to the one in Orlando, and it's got, I think, similar rides and things like that. So, but it has a couple of things that are not so similar. Like they have the Isla Nublar of Jurassic World, in the Jurassic World, and we talked about the Kung Fu Panda World, which is the only one of its kind, and so it has seven different areas, worlds, but they got hit by a blizzard, and so all of the outdoor attractions had to shut down for the whole day. And I think it was just the one day because obviously this is a well-oiled machine and they were able to bounce back immediately. But the pictures look so cool because Hogsmeade is all wintered out year round. It has fake snow everywhere.
It's not the fake kind this time. It's like
it looks life. I know. Yeah, it looked real. So people actually they didn't mind too much. There were so many people taking photos in the snow and the whole costumes that they had. So people were happy about they took it in stride. You could say they took it in stride, and there was just a lot of really beautiful footage there, but they did get hit by a blizzard after we talked about how amazingly full and packed it was. So maybe we cursed it. Blizzard.
I guess just expect some temporary shutdowns if there's another weather situation for.
So that's just one.
Universal.
Just add that to your list of things you have to do before you go to the theme park. Is check your weather app.
Always check your weather app just to see.
You always.
Just to see what kind of madness will come. But I did want to talk about Universal. So let's get to Universal next week. And we can also talk about different holiday things because Disneyland and Disney California Adventure open up their Christmas offerings in starting November 12th. So that's when our holiday season starts. And I just wanted to show my hybrid situation here. I've got my Christmas
ears and a Haunting of Hill House t-shirt.
Christmas, and I'm wearing the Haunted because I'm not done with Halloween yet. So, but this is I'm just doing a little Universal Disney shout out. But we'll definitely talk about Universal more. I'm coming up next time. But
so we got a lot to report. So please do follow us on all our social. We're on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We have a blog where we post our new episodes. We're on SoundCloud. If you actually go to themeparkrealtalk.com, you will see links to everything there. Under subscribe, you will see all the different ways that you can subscribe to us, whether it be on Spotify or iTunes or SoundCloud. And if you go to our contact page, it's got all the links to our social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. I think that's it, right?
Yes. Email us if we're leaving anything out, but I doubt it.
Yes. We're not on Pinterest yet, but you never know. Never say never,
We'll be on the next social media thing that comes out if it comes out. But
absolutely.
Find us absolutely everywhere. And thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, follow, tweet.
See you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.